This video is going to focus on how I rebuilt the lifting arm cylinders as well as the bucket curl cylinders. Plus, I reworked the linkage from the cylinders to the bucket. Future videos will show how I rebuilt the cylinders to the outriggers, as well as the swing cylinders to the backhoe, the boom, the crowd, and the rear bucket curl cylinders. But this video will focus on the hydraulic cylinders to the loader bucket on the front of the tractor. I run into a little bit of a snafu, and hopefully anybody who might be trying to follow in my footsteps will heed my caution. These T's mounted on the back side of this structural member here, these lines are in the way of getting these lines off. So I've been working underneath, lying on the ground and reaching up in to remove these lines, marking them as to where they go. So I have clearance to get at these 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way down there. What I wish I had done is, after I got the bucket off and the hydraulics were still sealed, lifted up the forks a bit and put them on blocks, some kind of a blocking, just to lift it up, get it away from the front of the Terramite, and just to give a little bit more working room. That is the caution I wanted to mention. So if somebody's following in my breadcrumb trail, to heed that and get the bucket off, and then operate the front arms to lift them up and set them on some kind of blocks, or even up on a sawhorse. After my father passed away, I inherited this wrench from him, and I drilled a couple of holes through the jaws of it and put some drill bits in there, and that is what I've been using for a cylinder wrench on the Terramite. I also have his sledgehammer here. The town I live near, here on the coast of Maine, that's large enough to have tire stores, big box stores, and auto parts stores. And there are several auto parts stores of all the major brands, but my local Napa store is just outstanding. As you know, that this fitting here is shot. I went to them and we made the decision. Young fella there really knew his stuff. You could tell by how he moved around, pulling out the fittings just by taking a quick look at this. And what I ended up doing is having two new hoses made up so the left and right curl arms will match. Did I need to do that? It was just intuitive. So there are new fittings on the end here. And I also got new grease fittings as well. So I am going to go through this kit, go through this kit and see what I have to match up, rebuild as many of these as I can. I'll do a little review about what I have set up here. I had a spare 2x6 down in my workshop that I cut to a length that'll hopefully allow me to use this cylinder bed, I'll call it, with all of the cylinders on the Terramite. So that's a 2x6 here, another 2x6, another 2x6. This is some scrap wood I had that I could wedge down between the cylinder and the side 2x6, and then I have a bar clamp crushing that together to hold the cylinder steady. I also have clamped this bed down to my makeshift workbench. As I removed the O-rings and backing rings from the gland nut, I laid them out on my workbench and then placed the brand new ones right next to them. That way I could match them up, making sure I had the proper replacement on hand for the job I was doing. I've also added swivel fittings at the ends of each hydraulic hose on the front of the tractor. And the OEM setup was the hose threaded right into the cylinder. And so to replace a hose, you had to break the hose or the fitting at the manifold behind the cross piece between the two lifting arms. Then you'd have to fish the hose out and then start to unwind it. And it's just pretty inconvenient. If you wanted to replace a hose, or if I wanted to replace a hose, all I would have to do now is break the swivel fitting loose from the hose and remove the hose. And you can see I've added 2 new hoses. I like to give a nod to my local Napa auto parts store who made these up for me. They really knew their stuff and moved through the project quite quickly. The only hoses I've replaced are these hoses up front on the curl arms because they take such a tight turn and the sun is always beating on them. These were quite cracked. So again, I've replaced hoses, everything is swivel fittings, all new grease fittings, and some of these grease fittings, I've actually changed the orientation. This was a straight. All of the grease fittings on this tractor are straights, like here and there. And to be able to get at this one, sorry, it's out of focus. To be able to get at this one, I put a 45 in there. I left this one as straight. Also, when I removed the pins out of here, I scotch-britered them and cleaned them all up. And so what I'm about to do is move on to the hoe, the back portion of the tractor. Every single cylinder on this has been leaking for a couple of years, and it's time to tackle this project before winter sets in. Give you an idea here, see if I can get in close. You can see the amount of oil that has been dripping out of these cylinders, particularly this one here. Every time I operate the backhoe, you get a constant drip, 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 drip. And it's time to fix this up. With the tractor being parked, the outriggers will sag, the bucket here will start to uncurl, and the whole boom will start to sag. It'll actually fall out of the boom keeper. What I will do is put up on the screen the chart of seals that are for a T9. I have no experience with a T5 or a T7 Terramite, but a T9 from 2006, I feel fairly confident now. After rebuilding the front of the loader here, I feel really confident about doing the rear end of the tractor, the rear circuit of the hydraulic system. Originally what I did is I had the tractor flipped around 180 degrees so that I could work using my workbench, and I used the ambulance that I'm converting over to an RV. That's on a different YouTube channel. I could use that as a workspace, and that saved me from going in and out of the cellar workshop, up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs. So once I got the front end of the tractor done, and I flipped around the tractor just this morning, and I lowered the boom and bucket down and the outriggers, I am going to pressure wash everything, get as much of the stuff off of here as I can. Right now, I am waiting for seals to be delivered through the mail from a company that I purchased them from, and I will put that information up on the screen as well.